Hello and welcome to Shadow Empire with me, Time and Tactics. This is the newest, well, it's the only DLC right now for Shadow Empire, Oceania. It is coming out on the 30th of March 2023, just in a couple of days from the time I am recording this. I'm playing version 1.20.b. It was given to me by Slytherin. Thank you very much for giving me an advanced copy. Let's go ahead and check it out. It's been a while since I played last, but this is a excellent game. I need to get into this again. Let's see what we can do with Oceania. There are two main components to Oceania. First of all, we get access to quite a few new worlds here, all based on water. You can see that here, obviously. Second piece to that is the maritime trading houses that are incorporated into the game. The third piece that you may be waiting for, that maybe you're thinking would be in the game, is naval units. It's not in the game. So if you're thinking battleships, destroyers, cruisers, stuff like that, that's not in this DLC anyway. This DLC deals with the new type of planet and the maritime trading houses, which will help you with your logistics flow across the ocean, shipping units over the ocean, for instance. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into a game. I'm going to go with a small map. That would mean a normal-sized planet, so I have a chance of finishing it. Let's see what we have here. First up is Gaia. It's an Earth-like planet with sizable oceans. Planets within this class can be quite diverse, but their key characteristic is that they are compatible, or close to compatible, with Earth-based life forms. Obviously, it sounds pretty interesting to me. You can get quite a bit varied terrain and native creatures. And then we have the Arctica class. It could have been an Earth-like planet, but it's much colder. So cold, in fact, that significant ice caps are present on the map area. And then number 3 would be the Proteus class. Has large oceans, but with odd chemistries or meteorology, resulting in lower than expected rainfall and relatively dry continents. These planets do not always sustain life. So yeah, okay, that seems pretty self-explanatory and quite different, I would say. The Fontes class, it is an interesting one, I think. There are planets that have an abundance of oceans, rainfall, and forest. These planets are greener than good old Earth. Alien life forms are as good as guaranteed. I think this might be a tricky one with all the aliens on the planet as well. And if you have a lot of forests, well, it's going to be hard to go in there for any kind of armored unit, right? Any motorized vehicle, I would think. And then we have the Thalassa class. It's a water world. Planets in this class have relatively little landmass. They can be quite varied and do not always sustain life. That's interesting, okay. And then here, it looks like an archipelago to me. The Tethys class. These worlds have a tendency to be hot and have a close to equal balance of water and land, and very fragmented tectonic plates. Maps on these planets are bound to present you with some interesting challenges. And finally, we have a small one down here, the Hydroid class. A small planetoid that happens to find itself in the Goldilocks zone. Due to the very young age of these planetoids, they might often not have very developed life. These planetoids are quite rare, but they do exist. I think all of these are probably worthy of playing, but I'm going to go, I think, with the Gaia class. Let's make it like Earth and see what that actually means in the terms of the game. So we don't have anything right now. Shrouded map here. Let's go ahead and pick that and say Gaia. As far as the history class here, what are we going to select here? I'm going to select spread out, so we don't start next to another major. But other than that, I think we'll leave everything else off. And for the generation settings, you can see them right here. I'm going to go with a detailed planet generation, so we'll see what happens there. And Fog of War, I could go with complete, but I want to see how the world looks, before anybody shows up, before any settlers show up. But then after that, it's going to be completely dark. And it's going to be one human player, well, that's me, and then a city-state start. That means we don't have a full zone. We have basically the city and the hexes around that city. And with a militia, no armies. I like that kind of start. And then the story modules, we'll leave them off for now. I don't want to focus on those. Tech level 3, so we're on the low end of the tech level. But we're going to have the Air Force. I didn't get to do much of that before. A lot of this is going to be new to me. We'll see how well I do picking it up again. Development speed, we'll do normal. We'll only start with the Supreme Command Council. Anything else we have to set up from scratch. And I'm going to play on the regular difficulty level with no game variance. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's go. Alright, let's see what we got here. And I may re-roll. It depends on what we get here. So it's a Gaia planet, right? This particular one has a slightly eccentric and quite slow orbit. That means we're going to have seasonal variances, I think. We are 3.2 astronomical units away from the sun. That means it's going to be a little bit colder. Yeah, it is. 5 degrees versus Earth, which is 11. The gravity is half of Earth. I think that's okay. The reason I would be worried about gravity is, while it's pretty good to have low gravity, I think, for your Air Force, in that it's easier to take off and things, it is also less likely to have an atmosphere. But I think we will have an atmosphere here, right? Planet age 2.5 billion. We may not have that many. We'll have some life, right? We'll see what that actually means. Everything looks pretty normal. Like we're spinning faster than Earth, so I think that means we might get more air, more wind. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. And here's the map size. Let's go for the next one. Okay, geology. So in this particular case, we have a wet planet with large oceans. We have a real but modest atmosphere. That's good enough for me. The highest mountain goes to 1,190 meters, not very tall. It's about 3,000, 4,000 feet. And the deepest sea floor is at 1,000 meters. Okay, wind speed 3, it's not very much, is it? There is definitely rain here. We have no mountains at all. I don't know if I like that. Plains 25% and oceans 75%. And we do see variances here. So we do see that. Okay, let's take a look at the actual map. I do like the map though. Now, why do I like it? Well, I like it because there are different continents. Here's one, and there's another one. So we could maybe start on a continent, maybe see if we can take it over, and then use the maritime trading houses. Remember, we don't have a navy, we don't have transport ships, or all that stuff that I talked about. Instead, we'll use that maritime trading house concept, hopefully, to get across to another continent. This looks interesting. The problem, maybe, is that it's not going to be any mountains. Is it worth re-rolling to get mountains? Maybe. Maybe I do want to get some mountains. Yeah, let's go ahead and re-roll and see what we can get. Okay, I think we found a good one here. This is a wet planet with large oceans again. 72% is ocean, 21 plains, and 7% mountains. That's quite a bit, I think. The highest mountain goes to 8,607 meters. That's very tall. Very tall. And the deepest sea floor is at 3,616. And we also have an Earth-comparable atmosphere. So we're going to be able to get any kind of airplane, if I can manage it, if I can design it, into, to be able to build it. And we have a little bit of a variance here, it looks like. So that looks pretty good. Let's look at the map, though. So the map looks pretty decent. We have a couple of, you can see them here, we have some volcanoes. And we haven't seen any kind of trees or anything like that yet. We're not at that stage yet. There are some mountains here. You can see sitting here. This is a big range there. What else do we have? We have a little bit of mountains here. Not very much. They seem to be concentrated, down here. This one is very tough. I mean, here, I'm thinking armored units, vehicles can come through here. And here as well, it's kind of worthwhile to get those light tanks and whatnot, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. There's some, it depends on when we start, right? But we'll take that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it wraps around, right? East to west. So we at least 4. Let's call it 4 continents. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, that looks good to me. Let's go for the next step. Okay, here's the biosphere. Before we look at this, let's look and see what the map looks like. It looks pretty good now, doesn't it? Yeah, zoom in a little bit. We can see we have forest here. Probably heavy forest, light forest, some varied terrain. Okay, yep, that looks good. I don't see any swamps. Maybe that is to be expected. It's not that warm, right? I didn't think it was that warm, so maybe we don't have that. But there's plenty of trees around. And the highest peaks here, there actually is snow on them. Let's go over and take a look at the other ones here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Pretty natural. Very good map making mechanism that Vic is using, the creator of the game. Okay, that looks good to me. I think this is fine. Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, it's a big lake there. Okay, yeah. And there's plenty of water for the maritime trading houses to be helping us out with. Okay, so that's that. Let's look here then. So 1491 million years ago, this planet started the process of abiogenesis. Currently, the planet has complex life forms with skeletons. So without skeletons, they would just be crawling around on the ground, I guess. They can stand up. Types of species include protocellular organisms, bacteria, algae, amoeba, and so forth. Okay. There's no hazard in the atmosphere, and I think that's what these two mean, right? The farming hazard is minor. We could use alien food here, right? Alien tissue level, 0. Nutrition. Alien tissue nutrition. So there's no... Okay, so eating the aliens is 0 value, but growing alien food is okay? Maybe. Vegetation level, forest. That's good, so we're going to have that there. The top of evolution life form is a Sola Nemertia, an aquatic, sizable, almost 1 meter long carnivore. They might come ashore, I don't know. It resembles a worm analog. Okay, we can actually inherit the different, the composition of the atmosphere, which I don't actually know exactly what this impact. I mean, it does impact, obviously, what is going on the planet. Everything here matters, you know. But let's go ahead and look at the auxiliary info. What do we have? Biosphere and atmosphere. Remember, the planet wasn't that old, was it? I didn't think it was. It's void of life, it says here. But if you look at the biosphere details, there are a few things. This one here, sea carnivore. And the competitiveness is 13. There's not that many life forms here, to be honest, right? But we'll see if there's anything there showing up on land. Land plants. No, not on land. Okay, now it's not going to be an alien on land. That's fine. There's going to be some in the ocean. We'll see if they come ashore. And I think that's all I want to do. I want to keep it. I think it's pretty good. And then for colonization. Avora Secundus was colonized in the year 7154. It received colonists for 834 years. Population is 27 million before we have the Dissolution War. It's a lot of agriculture and services. 14 zones. You can see what happened here. Let's continue. And here's the apocalypse. The Dissolution War reached Avora Secundus in the year 7988. War consumed all, and our population dropped to less than a million, which I think is pretty normal. A lot of scavengers and also farmers on there. And we can see here what actually happened. So, neighboring systems start hamstering goods and liquid energy. And this all impacts, I think, what actually we will find on the map. Do we find areas we can dig through of old relics and whatnot? Or do we find mineral deposits? So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Here's Avora Secundus. This is kind of a recap of what we have. A planet in a slightly eccentric and quite slow orbit. We know that. Yep, the tilt, we heard about that. Everything is fine. Air pressure is 826 millibar, which is close to Earth, right? Don't we have like 1,000 or something like that? There are 0.3 million people. Yep. There are 3 major regimes, 11 minor. Seems reasonable to me. It's pretty cold, but not super cold. Yeah, I think that's good. I think we're going to start the game now. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. All right, let's see what we got. What are the names we get? Neon Wasteshire. I don't think I want that name. Let me figure out a name here. Okay, so here it is. It was Neon Wasteshire, right? So let's call it the Shire. And we're going to be the chairman for the leader. Here's our colors. There's blue, purple-ish, and a yellow. I think that's what it was, and it will keep the symbol as well. I think that's good. All right, let's see what happens here. The great cities were destroyed in the Dissolution War. The remainders of humanity dispersed into the wastelands, hiding, scavenging, fighting, trying to scrape out a living, trying to survive. The forefathers of our union were among them. Starvation and structural lack of foodstuffs was the biggest enemy. There was less food than people to feed. How did our ancestors manage to avoid chaos and anarchy in their community? Well, I think we sacrificed the old to save the young. Oh, that's so horrible. I was thinking commerce might be a good one. Oh, by promising technological breakthroughs to give hope. I'm going to have to go for government, I think. I'm not going to shoot anybody there. Yeah, let's go for that. Upon stability returned, there were those who did better than others. Who were the people that grew richer and more powerful than the masses? I think I might go for mine. The artisans that worked hard and supplied goods and services that were needed. And we'll see what that actually means in the game. There are things you can get, card stratagems, based on what you focus on. This is just our starting point. It can be changed. A series of ancient leaders led our people from the brink of starvation to a more prosperous small survivor community. What was the sacred goal of our leaders of yore? And I think I'm going to go for the rediscovery of lost knowledge and technology. That seems very reasonable to me that we would have done that. So meritocracy is going to gain a boost of 50 now. The Shire, preparing for your turn. So round 1, we suffer no losses. We didn't make any kills. We have 3 decisions and 62 reports. Yeah, I believe it. There's a lot of reports here. Let's start the turn. The previous chairman is now buried. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's now up to you, well, me, to lead the Union to victory. The Shire. Funeral outside the capital. You are the chairman of the Shire. Some subjects cheer your ascension, but not all. You will have to hail and address the Union as soon as possible. We'll do that for sure. A new zeitgeist wanders through the land. So it's like a zeitgeist is like the predominant feeling or the predominant thing that's going on in the world. We're entering a time of bureaucracy right now. The effect is that we will get extra bureaucratic points or bonus points every turn. The current strength of this effect is light, 4. Gain 100 bureaucratic points. In 11 turns, the effects of time of bureaucracy will come into full force, and then after that it will go down, and something else will come. Okay. And here we have a couple of stratagems, specifically the fate ones. We can see the little sun symbol there. We can play them. It will cost us fate points. We don't have very many. So that's Starter Fate Pack awarded. This is much a card game as it is anything else, but it is not mainly a card game. You're going to be spending a lot of time on the map with hexes and units and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen it before. Anyway, we have these. Well, we have to look at them when we get there, I think. Get into the game. And then we have 2 new stratagems. These will take political points, not the same as fate points, as you see here. Sending a spy. We'll see what they'd actually do later on. And then now we're in the game. We can't see much because we were blocked out. There's an ascension speech here talking about how we should address the nation. So let's do it, but not yet. We'll take a look at the map. So welcome in command. Our Secretary Peter Nelson says, congratulations on your position, sir. Take your time to learn the ropes. Don't forget to check the decision tab at the top of the screen. That's over here. Move some units out and don't worry too much. Press the end turn button once you have made some moves. Yeah, don't worry is easy to say, but hard to do. Dismiss that. Second one, our governor. We have one governor, Victor Shallowlane. I know we have one governor because we started a very small area. Danger in Hexapeak, that must be our area here, is 11 points. This early in the game, this probably means enemy hexes units are too close to the city. Try to conquer all hexes close to your city. Yeah, we'll dismiss that as well. And now we're on our own. We can zoom in and out, as you see here, there. And this would be our area where we start. Not much to it, right? If I press 1, I can get rid of the units. And this is our city here. Oh, wait a minute. I feel like I'm missing hide labels. There we go. Okay, let's see if I remember this now. Okay, so Hexapeak, that is our zone and the city. Each zone can have one city, I'm pretty sure. There is a few things outside as well. Villanova here, Solum Ruins. Clayton is outside our area, right next to the Call Stream. And then we have the Francisca Stream as well. And there's the water. A lot of water, and there are two areas there. So we have to think about what we're going to do. It looks like we have farming area here as well, and there's a water drop, so maybe there's a water access there as well. Not that we need too much of that, I think, because we have the ocean. So now we have to think about what we're going to do, and I have to think about what we should focus on first. What should we look at? Well, if you don't really know what to do, it's a good option is to go to the reports. So F7, or we click here, and there is a ton. All of these up here. And then down here as well. So for overview, we have all of these. For letterbox, we have these, organizations, and so forth. So this is an overview. Do we need to look at this right now? Maybe we don't. We have to go in here, but right now maybe it's a little bit too much. Okay, I have some notes from earlier when I played, a long time ago, to go to the detailed overview here. So you go to overview, detailed overview, and then go down to victory overview. Let's see who is here. Only the major regimes can win, and we are one of them. The Shire here, we're in 3rd place. Habwigstadt is one, and Othera Domain is the other. We need to have a victory score higher than 50, while our closest competitor has 25 less than us. Right now we have 11, and Othera Domain has 14. Remember I said we should start far away from each other, so they shouldn't be too close. So it's a factor here of population and planetary control. Nobody controls that much, I think. So that's a good thing to do. After that, let's close out of here. And I think, there we go. Let's go and check out this strategic map. It might be hard to see, but we're basically seeing what else is here. Oh, there's nothing here. No regimes. We have... Let me see, that's the regimes here. We got the Shire, so we're in this little area. Zones. Oh, here we have the zone stuff. There's no regimes around us. There is Hexapeak. I think that little marker there shows that we own it, I think. So that's us. We have Okonon. Where's Okonon? Oh, it's this one here. The Hestia Waters is here. Artemis Main is there. And everything on land is Okonon. Okay, so that's all we know about that. So it's this one here. Yeah, that's Okonon. You can see that there. This is Hexapeak. That's Okonon. Okay, that's interesting. Non-aligned forces. It's not even a minor power. We don't know what's there. They just, if we go there, we can take over their territory. We don't have an agreement. We have a white border. We can just go and, take over territory, which we might want to do. Because there's a lot of our area here has been, we have farms even outside our territory. Okay, what else can we do? Well, we can look at the units that we have. As I'm sure you are want to know what we have. Now, I've turned on the NATO symbols, and that means you get these symbols. You don't have to have that. You can have a little symbol of a soldier if you want that, but I like NATO symbols. And we can click through them here and see what we have. The number at the bottom shows you how strong they are. So we can also look at the order of battle here. As we see here, we have a Supreme Headquarter, and we have Militia only. And then that is the Militia for Hexapeak. I think that you get that automatically for each zone that you have. And we have mainly motorized or mechanized units, it looks like here. One regular infantry and another one too. This one is the biggest one. We can look at that. It's always fun to see what we have. If we select the 1st Hexapeak Mobile Battalion, as we can see, we have 2 little pips there. Those that indicate that we have a mechanized unit, and that's consisting of these here: 100 machine gun militia, 100 rifle militia, 100 militia bikers, the regular trucks. Now we control them, but we don't directly reinforce them, or we don't build them. They're going to be built automatically. What we can do is create our own units, and we'll look at that in a minute here. So we know we have them here. That this gives us a strength of 7. If we go to the one with 20 in strength, 1,300 rifle militia there. And we can select them to see how good they are. For instance, this one here, when it attacks other infantry units, it will have 10 in attack. If it is being attacked by other infantry units, then it will use 20 when it's striking back during combat. Anyway, so they're not very good, obviously. These are the basic units there. What we can do, actually, while we don't have anything, no military units to speak of except the militia, why don't we go look on our management screen and take a look at the different types of units that we have access to. In this game, you have to research and find out what type of units you can build. And right now, we only have access to these. These are the ones we can build. We don't actually have anything built yet, as we saw in the order of battle, but we can build these. So here's one. We have decided to call this one Line Troops. Could it be called anything? It's of type infantry. And then we have an AMG, which is type of MG, which is machine gun. One hauler, which is a truck. And one crossbilly, which is a recon buggy. This number tells us how good they are in general. Okay, that's fine. How much they cost in general. We can look and see what we have to spend to get them. But what I want to look at right away, and I think most people do, they go to the design screen to take a look and see, do we have any good stuff, or do we need to redesign them? Let's do that. Okay, I took a little look at them and to see what we have, and well, right away, it looks like we got some really good units. I don't know if I've seen this good structural design units, and that's this number here. You're looking at here. This starts as a random number between 70 and 130. And as you can see, we are above average in everything. That means creating a new brand unit from scratch, maybe we don't need to do. As far as the actual base design, which is adjusted every time you upgrade, that is a little bit low. especially down here, the crossbilly doesn't have very good numbers. But if you're thinking, well, what does that actually mean? Well, we want to look at the numbers over here. These are the ones that we could take into the field, and we're going to determine how good are we, how much damage do we do, how many hit points do we have against soft and hard targets. And I can tell you right now that crossbilly is fantastic. It is really good. First of all, high number here, higher than expected. This number is low, so typically the design numbers, these three here, would be lowered by this one. But there's also a random component to that. You take the structural number and the design, the base design, and then you add a random number. There's a math being done there. I did the math, and we should not have had this high of a number here. These are all very high. Based on these two, according to my calculations, we should have had an average of 98 for engine design, 98 for weapon design, and 98 for armor design. When I say that, I mean on average, you would expect to see 98 for these values. These are the values here that directly feed into this. So weapon design is 125. You take the firepower there and the weapon design, and then do some modifications, and you arrive at these numbers here. So that is directly affected by that. So we were very lucky to get that. Remember, I said 98. All of them are higher. That's really good. That means I'm reluctant to re-roll, basically do an upgrade of a crossbilly until we absolutely need to, or until we have received some field testing. Part of this field testing, this field testing means how when we use it in combat, that will go up, and that's a modifier that will increase your base design ability for the next upgrade you do. So we'll wait for quite a while for these, I think, anyway, if we decide to use them right away, because while they're good, don't we have the terrain outside may not lend itself to vehicles, right? Maybe there's more. I feel there was a lot of forest out there, but we can look at it later. The hauler, let's look at the hauler. Hauler is good, but we rolled a pretty mediocre number here. I mean, it's less than the average. This number goes from 70 to 100, so you can see 82 is below there. And what we should have had here, according to my calculations, our engine would have been 85 if we hit the average for the engine design based on these two numbers, but it's not. It's only 81. So this one we could maybe consider if we want to do anything about redo. Now, what will that give us? It doesn't have weapons or armor. Well, a better engine means we can move further. At least I think that is the main effect of it. Then we have these two, the mainstay of our units right now. We can get other units later if you want. The line troops, let me look at my numbers here. Yeah, obviously structural design, remember it goes up to 130, is super high. This is above average, average being 85. And based on these two, we still did a good job rolling here, 105. We would have expect, based on these two, to get about 106. So this one is not terrible. And the average, for the average unit who gets 100 in structural design, 85 in this, they would only expect to get 83 here. So it's obviously much better than that. Even this one, even though, considering these two numbers, it's a little bit of a disappointment, still not bad. So this one unit, yeah, I'm thinking we don't want to get rid of the structural design. We don't want to create a brand new unit. Do we want to upgrade it? Not yet. Still good. Very good numbers. Then for the machine gun, and by the way, infantry, better used maybe for attack. Machine gun, very solid on defense against soft targets. Structural design, again, very good. And then base design, high, not bad, 85 being the average. Considering those two numbers, we should expect to get about 101 in these two numbers. We get 102, that's good. Armor, 90. And the armor, by the way, is fed into the hit points there. So armor, hit points, not great, but we're going to do some good damage. 102 there. Soft attack on the defense, if you want to think of that. So when somebody attacks us, we get to use this number. Somebody moves a unit into our hex. Then we use that in ensuing combat. If we attack, only 26. You don't want to use them for that, really. That's kind of a waste. Anyway, so that's that. Now, there are plenty of other units that we can research. So we have one machine gun type here, one truck, one recon buggy, and one infantry. We have not researched the rest, so we have to actually do that using our tech. And it sounds like I know what I'm doing, but not really. This game is deep. So I'm going to make plenty of mistakes. Don't worry about that. And I'm not going to know everything here, that's for sure. So now that we know our units are overall quite good, we probably want to get some of those. But before we do that, let's maybe expand a little bit. Because if I remember correctly, if you look at the map, you don't want enemy, well, non-friendly territory within 2 hexes of the city. It's going to be bad for morale here. We can go to the zone itself, where we have our city, and we can look at somewhere here, this one, happiness. It's going down by 2. Population happiness increased by 1 due to luxury products and services, but it diminished by 3 due to high danger. It's very close to us here. So I would say press 1 again. We'll take these units one by one. We'll go up here, and it kind of grays it out. That means we can go here. Just right click. I think I'm going to go up with 1 unit here. Oh, look at that. Now, here's the problem. They're right outside. There's going to be something here. Okay, we have to see what we can do about this. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's see. So if I take the second unit, move it there. Right now, let's do this. We look here. We can see we have a hex here. We don't know what it is. We have recon 39. Minimum recon to be able to see what unit it is approximately is 40, but 70 for this hex. I guess it's modified by the terrain. I don't know. Force, I guess. Minimum recon of full unit info is 400. 430 for this. Landscape height points 30. Okay, that's why they get that. 30 plus 40 is 70. Okay, I'd say we move another unit in. We're going to get increased recon then. Let's move up here. There. Okay, we see a little bit more now. If you select that again, we have recon of 55. Went up a little bit. This is not going to be accurate. Free Folk Marauders. I'm looking down here. Select it. It's a militia. Let's select it. So it's them here. Okay. Mixed infantry with a variety of improvised and low-tech weaponry. Equipped. Vic, if you see this should be 2-piece here. With thermal clothing. Now, right here is what I'm looking right now. I think this is hit points. Yeah, 60. They have 10, 20. If they are doing a attack against a soft target, if they are moving into a hex with a soft target, they use 10. If they defend, they get 20. That's going to be very important for us, because we're trying to get them out of there. They're going to be good at defending. Here, 5, 10. If we have a hard target attacking, they get 10. We do have the buggy, right? Yeah, I think, what's it called? It was called the buggy, I think, yeah. Okay, can I move up? I could move up there. Now let's see, if you look in this corner down here, we can see it takes 35 AP. Now, how many APs do we have? Let me just see if I can find it. That's readiness, action points, 75 left. I'd say we go up here. Now, I know we have one stronger unit, don't we? This one. Yeah, we'll take this one. Maybe not attack this turn. We'll go up here. Okay, now that's good. We want to make sure we keep maintaining supply routes, logistics, super important in this game. And by the way, you can see the border is expanding. So we're kind of pushing them away. Unfortunately, they're still here within range of 2 hexes of hex peak. So that's unfortunate. We're attacking from multiple directions. That's good. That gives you a modifier in combat, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Did we go up with the recon? No, still 55. But if I move this one up now, I think it's not going to change. But we'll go up with, we'll maybe send one down here as well. We'll go up with our 20 unit here. And I don't think we get anything more. Yeah, 70, new unit. Okay, did anything change? They have strength 22. Right now it says 600 rifle militia. You know, remember that with a soft defense of 20? We have 27. If we attack, we could potentially defeat them with the units we have now. Let's check. I'm selecting this one, and I'm right-clicking there. I'm not attacking yet. You look here. This is what I've assigned so far. We have 2 other units we could attack with. And also, by the way, in combat, it's several rounds. The first couple of rounds, the attacker gets a negative modifier. Right now it's saying odds are not in our favor. 1 to 2.1 if we just use them. 20 to 22. Here, this number shows you the modifiers. Our offensive modifier, I think it's like a 72% modified a plus for us. They get 150 because of everything else they have, like cumulative modifier here. What else do they have? Defensive, they have like maxed attack. They have too much firepower and a little quantity of targets. Okay, yep. Experience modifier, that's their experience. Entrenchment, 18%. Readiness, this is something we want to think about. If we attack them, we're gonna remove or reduce their readiness, which is a direct negative percentage on their strength. Yeah, and then you can see the stats up here too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say well, actually, we'll bring this one guy in. The action points, I think, are here. Now 1 to 1.3. 2.1. That's better. 126. What was it before? 150. You can see the numbers changing here. We don't have to go into the detail, but we have 100 now. Do we have a modifier from attacking from multiple directions? That's our readiness. -7. -17. Concentric attack modifier. From the more sides you attack, the more bonus you'll get. 10. 0. Okay, so I take this one too. 40 now. Now 159. 1.3. It's in our favor. Not enough. I don't think we would be able to win. We wouldn't be able to win. What do we have left? We have 1 7 strength unit here. And a headquarter. And 1 regular 6 here. Do we want to go down here? How far can he get? He can get to here. Okay. We want to push out our border. This one can move. It has... What does it have? Militia? We want to look at this number. That's what we're going to attack. Machine gun doesn't do much. Rifle is the same for attack. The biker, 20. It's good. It's better than the regular infantry, I think. That's a truck. That's just a transport unit. And then artillery. We can do damage on that too. So... This one here, the biker, is decent. It does 20. It has 20 in strength. This one here, what do we get here? 10. And then this one here, RPG, 10. But there are, what, 600 here? And then this one has more. Not really. But better composition. I'd say we take... we move maybe our infantry up. And the mobile... unit, will move him down to check it out here. Let's go and check that out. Tuming Stream is here. How many AP action points to move? Well, we can see the dots up here. And we can actually select it too. To see what we have selected here. Where was it? There, not there. There, 75 left. This will cost me, look here in this corner. 25 to get down there. I think I'm going to push it down a little bit more. Are we going this way? There's a river there. We're not attacking across the river. That's good. If we have any units here, it's going to be attacking across the river. That's unfortunate. I think I'm going to go down here. Okay, there's nothing else here. By the way, this area right here, Villanova, we have... What do we have here? 22,000 free folk. If we are happy, if our zone is happy, they're going to migrate into the city. Be good if they did that. I'm tempted to take this one. We could go up here. Attack across the river, though. Not super great. But I think I'll go up there and check it out. Only 1 action point. We can't attack with it right now. It's going to be a negative modifier. I don't think I want to attack yet anyway. So that's what we have. We have these units. Boy, I don't know what to do here. We don't want them here. We want to push them back. Maybe one way would be to do a probing type of attack. I don't really have anything good for that though. If I had like an artillery unit, you know, one of my own, not the militia. You can see the M here indicates militia. We could soften them up. Reduce some of their readiness there, right? And that's a negative percentage. Oh, look. It's not good. You can see the radiation here. We have radiation. Radiation, 53. Now, if, our units, if we go back into the management screen, I'm running out of time here, but let me show you. If you look at our not type models, look at our line troops, we have a thermosuit. But not an environmental suit. Thermo would be for temperature, and our envirosuit would be for radiation. So if we go out there, and I can't remember the numbers now, but maybe even as low as over 100, we started taking hits. We can even die off. Definitely morale hits by being over here in the radiation. What do we have in radiation? 61. That's that number down here, rad. It's 68, 53. It's going to increase here, I'm sure of it. So that would be interesting. This is a natural border here. It almost feels like we can maybe control that. Can I push him back? It would be helpful. I don't want to sacrifice anybody though just to attack and then die off. We'll have to think about it. But anyway, I'm out of time, guys. We'll come back. There's lots more to do. So yeah, if you like this, come back and we'll play more of Shadow Empire with Oceania. Bye, guys.